one game, or
if you're going to play one game, that would be the one I would play.
Exactly right. And of course, the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Auburn Tigers. And you wouldn't think I'd have to hotwire this Alabama deal, but I do. And Crimson Tide of Alabama getting ready for the football season. Big meeting in the SEC today. A lot will be determined on what's going to happen this football season. Or will it be Auburn and Alabama going at it hard? Going at it hard. I don't know who's going to win this battle. We'll have to wait and see.
Are they jumping the gun a little bit? I mean, what is today? July the 13th?
I know we're jumping it, but hey, I'm saying there's still a chance. Everybody says no football, but
Mike Amos says not so fast.
Not so fast, baby. Not so fast.
I thought these decisions would have been made in early August, not in early July. Yeah. I'm kind of shocked by all this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing, we're having fun this morning. Sort of hoping that one day this fall we'll be playing these fight songs and getting ready for college football. There's supposed to be a meeting today that's going to have a lot of weight, but at the same time, we have to take a stronger look at this virus and how college football would be affected by this virus. Mike, have they come up with any kind of solutions, or what's the deal?
I mean, I know all the athletic directors and I think presidents are meeting today in Birmingham, but I'm shocked by all this. I mean, I figured, I know the cases are through the roof as far as 60,000 a day, but people just don't realize how many people are asymptomatic. When it's all said and done, I think people will write books and books about how all this happened. And then the death rate yesterday, there were 60,000 cases, and don't get me wrong, any deaths, horrible death, but there was only 355 deaths.
Give us that total of yesterday.
It was 60,000 new cases, but 355 total deaths in the United States.
Let me ask y'all, do y'all know many people that are sick? That you say, oh, my friend or my family member is at home coughing and with a fever. Normally when there's an epidemic or something going around, you hear, oh, yeah, a lot of people are sick. They're at home. It was certainly that way in January and December, but I know there's some more people in hospitals in some places, but it's just far as people you're hearing about, oh, yeah, Lucille is at home in bed. And I'm not hearing that. So that makes me, cases does not equal sick. Mike made a good point.
Even on Facebook, I tell my wife all the time, I was like, I have 800 friends on Facebook maybe or something like that, maybe less, I don't know. But nobody's ever come out on Facebook and said, I've had the virus.
Yeah.
Well, that I know
of. They say now that Pike County, ladies and gentlemen, has gone from being a county that had not had a lot of positive cases. In fact, as going into Saturday, 467 cases in Pike County, including 15 in the last, that would be on Friday and Saturday, 15 in those days. It says now that Pike County is a high-risk county. Oh. That means wearing face masks, also avoiding groups of 20 or more, also adding all the no unnecessary travel, maintaining 6 feet distance, eating at home rather than eating out. So I broke, let's say, 2 or 3 of those this weekend.
I wore my mask when I went to the store in Mama Goldberg's.
Well, that's what I did too. I wore my mask when I left my house, and I've got it on today to recognize the fact that, hey, we've got to start wearing these masks wherever you go outside of what I call the friendly confines of your own home.
Well, everybody, more and more people are wearing the mask. especially compared to a month ago or 2 months ago. I'd say twice as many people are wearing masks, but yet the cases are still going up.
Exactly right.
Dad, you're like Tommy Tuberville though. You spend most of your time in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's talk about that now. The race is tomorrow. If we're not going to talk about it today and tomorrow, when are we going to talk about it?
That's right. Is it a vote tomorrow? Or when is it?
So the runoff's tomorrow.
Runoff is tomorrow between former Auburn head football coach Tommy Tuberville, who beat Alabama 6 times.
Hey, right here, man. That's what that guy did to you.
Fear the thumb +1.
That's right. Yeah, let me see it. Yeah, move your hand over a little bit, Mike. Your big hand. There you go.
Six times.
That's right. He beat Alabama 6 straight times. Nobody in history has done that, I don't think. That's right.
Scott from Oregon knew about it.
Bear Bryant beat Auburn, I think, 8 or 9 straight.
Yeah, I know that. I think that is the case. I tell you what, there is some. I don't know who this guy is. I reckon I do now. If I can. This doesn't say who the writer is here, but was this a beautiful photograph of a college football play? Of course, this is LSU against Alabama, but that is as good a Rice. You've done a lot of photography. That's pretty good right there.
Well, you know it's what makes it stand out is it's half a page.
Yeah, that's right.
What Dad always told me when I had a newspaper, he said, run more big pictures. Yeah. You know, you had so many stories, you couldn't run the pictures big, but I should have listened to him because when you run a really big picture, it looks better. You can tell it's a really good picture. So you can blow up those pictures any size you want to.
Let me read into this a little bit. It says here, you can walk around a lavish palace with a hall of mirrors and doors leading into the lobby. It says you still have to knock on the door first, and that's where we stand right now in terms of Southeastern Conference football. There can be speculation, all sorts, but there is no sense wondering what might be beside as long as you are standing outside hoping the door will open. From the sound of things on Saturday, it might not. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, said his level of concern about the upcoming season was high to very high. So
yeah, let's be honest. Sankey's job will probably be determined by what happens this year.
I'm sure it will.
When he makes this decision, if a month from now things are back to normal and there's no college football, I would say he will not have a job by December.
That's a good point.
That's how big this is for, athletic departments, universities.
Or flip it and say that he does do it, and then you still keep having the surging cases.
As long as those deaths are down, I still feel like, I watch golf every week, and I love it. And I watched Justin Thomas.
Was that great yesterday? Was that great?
One of the biggest chokes he's ever had as a golfer. He's a great golfer, but when you're up three shots with 3 holes to play, you got to win that tournament.
Yeah, I know it.
I'm still shocked that, and he should have won it in the first playoff hole because he made a miracle 50-foot putt. But I'm just saying golf does it every week. Yesterday, I don't know if anybody watched that playoff, but it was incredible. The whole round was incredible.
Yeah, I watched it.
And
was that game, where was that tournament played?
That was at Muirfield Village. They were playing back-to-back tournaments at Jack Nicholson Sports.
Was that tournament, was what we saw on TV a rerun?
Yeah, it finished yesterday around noon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How in the world did that tournament end at noon? I was looking for it everywhere.
Yeah, I was watching it on my phone, and they had it early on the Golf Channel. But Justin Thomas, was about to win his 13th tournament all time, was about to win his 3rd of the year. He's already number 1 in the FedEx Cup. But, that Colin Americana kid out of Cal is just phenomenal. To be 22, he's so poised, and he just strikes the ball right down the middle. But I'm just saying, golf's been doing it for almost 5 weeks. Basketball, I think, starts next week. Baseball starts the next week. We're all about to start up sports. So, I'm just saying the Pac-12 making their decision to play conference only, and then the Big Ten making their decision to play conference only. This is very early to make these decisions, in my opinion.
I want to make a point that I've made a couple of times here that 5-6 months of Corona, I have still not heard of one high school athlete, one college athlete, or one pro athlete who has died from Corona. So the death rate, the possibility that somebody, an athlete, will die from Corona is 0. We've had it for 5 months, and yet we keep hearing about the safety. We got to take care of the safety of the athletes. Well, the athletes are going to be safe. They're got the best care in the world. The worst thing that can happen to an athlete is he gets 2 or 3 days of a flu-like illness. That's, as Mike says, most of these athletes that are testing positive, I'd say 90%, they have no symptoms.
Yeah.
So nobody in the SEC office has died or gone to the hospital. No athletes, no coaches. I just think it's overreaction. Now, for the fans, the older fans that might have some issues, of course they don't need to go to these ball games. But for the rest of the people, there's no risk in my mind of playing these games.
And then I still say, move the season back and let it start in November. You know, give us a couple of more months at least, see how this thing's going to do, and then play. If you can't play those other, you can't play 12 games, play 10 or play 8. Play 8 and have a playoff.
You're going to lose so many of the top players, though. If you move it to November, no player that would be going in the first or second round would play due to the fact that the draft's usually in April. So I don't see it happening.
I mean, there's all kind of possibilities, but they all got cons to them. Max looks like he might have been right on this big boy football league where they're only playing conference games and playing 10 of them. Well, that's going to be a big financial hit to Troy University. If Troy doesn't get that $1.5 million from Tennessee,
that's right.
That is that's a lot of money for Troy.
And then a big
then they had
game
they were going to play another big game against North Carolina State.
In fact, I think North Carolina State owes Troy. Troy went to North Carolina State a few years back, and now they're paying Troy back by coming to Troy. So it's a payday for Troy, I would think.
Well,
I went to that game.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, you're right.
Well, he's been everywhere, man.
And of course,
that's the only time I went to a football stadium. This is honest God truth. I wish I still had the picture. That on the actual toilet seats in their bathrooms, they said, "Please do not throw miniatures into the toilets and flush them."
Oh,
There's
God.
actually signs.
Oh, no, isn't that terrible? You're right.
For
but
people bringing whiskey into the game, they actually had signs that said, "Do not flush your miniatures into the toilet."
So they expect you to have it, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're hoping and praying. I was thinking just yesterday that the most important thing is to be safe, and if we can't be safe, we don't need to have college football. But at the same time, we've got to. What would the school year, not just college football, but the whole school year? I would think there'd be kids not wanting to come to school if you're not going to have football.
Well, if you're not going to have football, I don't think that you're going to have on-campus students.
Yeah, I mean, and
then you really
folks, we're going to have to find something for these kids to do,
Well, then think about the economy of these towns that depend on college students, and we're in one of those towns right here.
No question about it. And then the liability.
Yeah, I mean, if the students literally, if they've already started paying for the fall, semester as far as showing up and going to school, I mean, I don't see how now they can back out. Surely they're not going to have to go ahead and start paying. I would say in the next week or so, or maybe they already have paid for the fall. I would back out in a heartbeat if they told me there was going to be no fall with football, and I would just say, hey, I'd ask my mom and dad if I could just sit out on it.
Well, you're going to have outbreaks in fraternity houses, sorority houses, bars, classrooms. But heck, I had classes at the University of Alabama with 400 people in them.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, there's no way to keep people 6 feet apart in these classrooms. So I'm not, and then I'm hearing all these things about school, how they're going to do school. a million different plans, and they're all just major hassles for the kids and the parents. We ain't seen the last of this, and everything I look at, though, y'all, is just the economy is already much worse than we probably know or we're talking about. You know, the taboo. Let's don't talk about it. But if these steps happen, it's going to exacerbate that. And you know, so I joked to Mike before we came on there. Make sure you got some silver and gold hidden somewhere.
Of course, as Michael mentioned earlier, we had one great golf tournament, and you know, it was so good that they had that tournament yesterday on TV to give somebody something to do. If you were going to stay,
that's what I told my wife.
Yeah,
I watched all of it.
Yeah,
She said, come outside and play with the girls, and I was like, man, I'm watching a great golf tournament.
Justin Thomas was leading by 3 strokes.
Yeah.
With 3 holes to play, he bogeyed 2 of the last 3 holes. He lipped out a couple of putts. If he would have just made one of those putts, he would have never gone to the playoffs. But this other guy did play really, really good down the stretch.
Tell us about this guy, Mike. He's a Native American, isn't he?
No, he's Asian American.
I know, but what I'm saying, he's born and raised though in America.
Yeah. He played
Asian
at Cal.
parents.
Yeah, he played at Cal. He's a phenomenal player. He went on the.
But he was
tour.
born and raised right in America, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's from California, but he played on the Corn Ferry Tour when he was in college, an event, and won that.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you how good he was when he was an amateur. He won a Corn Ferry Tour event, which is a step down from the PGA.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be one of the greats, no doubt.
I tell you what, just more and more.
Justin Thomas, though, when you watch that tournament, if you see how that started, he started off with 2 bogeys.
Yeah, I knew
so
that.
he gets down by 3 strokes at one time early on, and the next thing you know, he birdies 5 straight holes, and then on 15 eagles and takes a 3-shot lead, and you thought it was over. I didn't think there was any chance a guy as good as Justin Thomas would not at least par bogey in, but then he bogeys, pars, and bogeys to go to the playoff. But then just 3 great holes in the playoffs, and then he had the worst luck of maybe any golfer I've ever seen. His drive goes right behind a tree in the rough,
boy.
and that was it. I mean, when you're right behind a tree, you don't have a chance.
But that was in the overtime, is that right?
That was on the 3rd playoff hole, yeah.
But I think it was the 2nd playoff hole, Michael. He gets an approach shot that really wasn't that good. It was about 53 feet from the pin, the back of the green.
That's the first one.
His playing partner is 25 feet from the pin, so neither one of them look like they're going to make it. But Justin's just trying to lag it and 2-putt. Well, darn if he doesn't make it.
55 feet.
He makes it.
So if he doesn't make that, it doesn't
hard
go.
left to right break. I mean, that ball broke 10 feet. Boom. He screamed. Everybody said, that's it. Then this 23-year-old kid we're talking about just saw that. He's got a 25-foot putt with a lot of break in it. He knocks it in. And so we go to the next playoff hole. And so Justin probably thought he had it won on that first playoff hole.
Morikawa.
That's got to be one of the brutal losses you can have.
But if he wins that tournament, he's only 3 people have won.
I know it.
As many tournaments.
It puts him in the Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods category. And
by the time you're 27 years old, that would have been only Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods.
Justin is. I follow him as close as you do, Michael, and there's been 2 or 3 now that he could have won.
Oh yeah,
you could argue that he let him get away from.
Land Holmes beat him. Anybody Land Holmes beat him?
Yeah, I know.
You're right there, Lance.
But that's one thing about him is when his drives. I watch him play a lot. He's kind of become my new favorite golfer because Mickelson's just if you get him. I mean, he's 50 and he plays well every once in a while. But I watch him all the time, and man, when he's on, he's on. But man, his drives are all over the place. He scrambles a lot. He's kind of like a Mickelson somewhat, as far as where he kind of hits them all over the place.
But he's the best example of you don't have to be big to hit it a long ways. He probably doesn't weigh 150 pounds soaking wet.
Well, look at that guy.
I know it. And Morikawa is about the same way. What's the dimensions of Colin Morikawa? But
I don't know. I'd have to look and see.
Justin Thomas hits the ball over 300 yards and one of the longer hitters on the tour. And, all of this just goes to say man, there's so many great golfers out there. So, I mean, you count the top 20, they can beat you on any given day. And that's why Tiger will never dominate again. And and look at Speed. Speed is the best example of a guy saying, God, he sure is mature for his age, and it sure is a good player. Look at what happened to him. Finds a girlfriend that hadn't been the right since. Good morning, you on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, Will Matthews.
Will Matthews, won't you please come home? I need an attorney, Will Matthews. Y'all got one in Ozark?
Oh, yeah, me and my daughter.
Okay, and of course, I know you've been busy. We hadn't heard from you lately, Will. It's good to hear from you.
Well, like you've been real busy, which is good. And
I hope you were able to watch that tournament instead of play yesterday. I bet you played, though, didn't you?
I played in a tournament in Bainbridge, Georgia, over the weekend. They had over 200 golfers playing it.
Was it a 4-ball type, or what was it?
It was a 3-person scramble.
Oh, okay. Play best ball then? The best ball?
Yeah. Scramble, yeah.
Who are the people you played with?
Tim Mitchell, friend of mine from Dothan. He played at Wallace way back when, and played at Troy later on. He went to Troy a long time ago. He's 48 now. But,
Yeah.
But
Hey, Will, is it hard to hit a ball with a mask on?
I didn't wear a mask, and I didn't see a mask all weekend.
You didn't see anybody wearing a mask while they played?
No, and nobody wore one at the dinner Saturday night either.
Oh gosh, Will, you'll wear one though, won't you?
I wear a mask to work, but the thing is, after this weekend, if I didn't get it this weekend, I'm probably gonna not get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Will Matthews, of course.
Tell us what you think about the Senate race, Will.
I think Tuberville's going to win quite easily. I really do.
But now, Will, there's no question, though, that Sessions could do more than to help this country than Tuberville could. Don't you agree?
No, I disagree, and I'll tell you why. The president does not like Sessions.
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter. Sessions has lost all his seniority. If he gets elected, he'll be just an incoming freshman senator, just like Tuberville.
Yeah. So he doesn't have the.
The thing is, he's 73 or 4 years old, and Tuberville's like 10 years younger.
Another thing about Sessions, gosh, he spent a lot of time in Pike County. One of his best friends was, it was one of my best friends, and Dr. Doug Hawkins. I've been, Sessions had been in his house and in his place of business many times. Tuberville, of course, is the former Auburn football coach. Now, do you think being an Auburn football coach is going to help him get a lot of votes?
I think his name recognition will get him a lot of votes, but if you ever talk to him, I think you'll like what he says. He's very conservative.
I know he is. He's putting a lot of his popularity by being for Trump. Is that right? That's one of the first things that comes out of his mouth is he's for Trump.
That's every politician. Every commercial I see, it's who loves Trump more. I mean, not one of them's ever going to vote against Trump or do anything Trump doesn't want. So. And
then Alabama folks hate him because he beat them 6 straight times. They don't like Tuberville.
I tell you what, Mike, I like him because of him. We got rid of Shula.
You got rid of Shula. Wait a minute. You mean Saban wasn't part of any of that?
He never beat Saban.
Okay.
Dad went up there with Bud Chase, and this is a true story. This is after Jet game. So they go out to practice at Auburn, and Tuberville's pretty much coming up there by telling them goodbye. I mean, he thought his job was going to be over after that game against Alabama.
I stood right by him, and he gave a friend of mine's son a hat, and he said, "This will probably be the last Auburn hat that I give a person." He thought he was gone. You're right. The plane that took off to Kentucky, to Louisville to try to get your buddy to come down there. Why that would have been the worst mistake that Auburn had ever done, don't you think? Or ever made.
You never know.
Katrina.
Mike, Amos is coming to you from Great Beach, Florida, on Zoom television. How's everything at the Yellow House in Panama City, Will?
I don't know. I hadn't been about since Father's Day.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't, since Father's Day, yeah. Did you have a lot of your kids come back?
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
And your in-laws came. How did they like Panama City? Your in-laws?
They love Panama City.
And of course, they stayed down there a while, didn't they?
Yeah, a week.
Did y'all go do some go-kart racing?
No.
Now I tell you what, I bet you went to Thomas's Donuts every day. Is that right?
I went out of the 7 days I was there, I went 5, I think.
Yeah, but the lines were really crazy, man. They're getting to be crazy. I'm not going to stand out that long, but I will tell you what you need to do. There were people, standing out in line for an hour to get a donut, and they charge what they want to for them. They're that good. But the way to do it is get their telephone number and call in and say, "Hey, I want a dozen donuts. My name's Mike Amos. I'll be down there in 15 minutes. Pick it up." They say, "Well, thank you." And when I get there, instead of going to that big line, I go to that little short line on the side of the building. And they said, I had a call in, Mike Amos. They give him a donuts, and I walk out. And all those people are looking at me, how did he do that?
Well, they don't know that you're famous in Panama City Beach.
Wait, let's hear this. What?
Let me ask you a question, Mike. When's the last time you did that?
It's been a couple of weeks. I didn't do it this past week, but I've done it many times.
I've got their number on my phone, and every time I call, it's busy. I can't ever get through.
Okay. You ought to, I tell you what, that will be something somebody would love to have. You want to give out that number?
I can give it to you right now.
Yeah, all right, he's going to give us the number now, ladies and gentlemen. This could save you some time and effort.
Let me look. All right, let's see.
Michael, this is important information right here now.
I can go on Google right now and give it to you.
All right, what is it?
Well, I'm giving it to you right now. Thomas Donuts. He is. All right. Let me see. Well, I've got it. All right, here it is. 850-234-8039.
8039. To order your donuts from, and don't do it as a prank now. Let's don't do that. But 8039. 8039.
234-8039, and every time I've called, it's been busy.
What makes them better than the other donuts? Are they better than Krispy Kreme donuts?
They're just so fresh. They're
fresh and they're big too. They're big donuts.
Yeah. In fact, you can order with the hole or without the hole. Mm-hmm. Either way, and of course, people have been buying. A lot of it is tradition, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people say, "Well, did you go? Did you go to the beach? Or did you go to Thomas's?" That's tradition.
That's tradition. You go to Tuscaloosa. You go to
they also have like 20 different flavors.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how kids react to college football. Now look at this guy right here. Now, this is college football. Look at this, Rice. Now, this is what college football is all about. What are these kids going to do if we don't have college football, Will?
What are their dads going to do?
What are their mom and daddy do?
I can tell you right now, we're not going to have college football with fans. And we may have it, but it won't be with fans.
Yeah. Now, one thing I liked about Troy's schedule, a lot of people are really concerned about Troy, is this, and Will, and this is not bad. Their actual schedule this year had them with 6 home games. If Troy played 8 or 10 games, if they have at least 6 home games, that's good for the program.
Yeah.
You know, to have,
But I don't think, Mike, I don't think they're gonna let people watch. I just don't think they can do it.
yeah.
Even if you had a box in Tuscaloosa, and you paid $100,000 a year, you don't think they'll let them in the box?
I don't know. They'd have to wear masks and be tested. Their fever check going in or something. There'd have to be something going on.
Rice is sitting here with his Auburn shirt on, you know.
That's my Clemson shirt.
I know, but it's what's
Under Armour?
Under Armour. That's an Auburn.
Does Auburn have
trademark.
a-
Yeah,
yeah.
they're one of the
Under-
very few. Oregon's Oregon's a Nike, isn't it? Mike, who
Oregon
wears
was-
Under Armour?
Nike was founded by the Oregon owner.
If Oregon was not Nike, that would be a story.
Yeah.
A big Under Armour school is Maryland. It's actually out of Maryland. Started.
They've
Under
got
Armour.
ugly uniforms too.
UAB's Under Armour.
Who's Troy's money game this year? They always.
Tennessee at Tennessee in November. Probably
NC State.
probably $1.5 million a game, probably.
NC State was coming to Troy.
If that game's not played, that's gonna hurt Troy big time.
No question about it. And then also they play North Carolina State at home on and that game's in September. North Carolina State at home.
So that game's already been canceled. You can forget that one.
Well, really, why? Why? Because of what the conference did.
Now the ACC's not going to make a decision until late July.
All right, but
Pac-12 and Big Ten
all right.
are the only ones that are conference only right now.
Yeah, right now the Big Ten and what's the other one?
Pac-12.
And Pac-12 are the only ones that have.
ACC's not official.
They're not official on what they're going to do yet, because
Exactly.
now is Notre Dame would have to play at an SEC school, wouldn't he?
ACC.
Notre Dame already had 6 ACC games, and they said that they've already come out and they would play basically a full ACC schedule. Is what they would
Boy,
play.
that right there would make it tough. How would you like to? Well, of course you got Clemson sitting there. Is going to they'll have to beat
See, Notre
Clemson.
Dame's already lost USC. They play USC every year. They play Stanford every year. So those 2 games are gone. Of course, Alabama USC is not going to happen. I want to know, Will Matthews, if you had a 3-shot lead, with 3 holes to play to win a golf tournament like Justin Thomas, and you know how to play golf because you played in college at Vanderbilt, how in the world do you not close that out?
Well, he made a
50-foot putt.
on 16. All right, he made a bogey on 16. Then the other guy birdied 17. So now it's only a 1-shot lead.
Yeah.
It can go quick. Now at one time, Justin Thomas was like 4 strokes behind. And he
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
strokes ahead. Yeah. But they're all so good now. I mean,
I know.
1900 Muirfield is unheard of.
Yeah, I was looking at this.
The great Tiger Woods is back this week, and of course he can make history. He's tied with Sam Snead for 82 career wins. He could win 83 and be the all-time wins leader as well.
Wow. Somebody explain to me why they're playing 2 tournaments at the same course back-to-back weeks. How'd that happen?
It was a scheduling situation. Some tournament.
What was that again?
Some
I'm
tournament
sorry.
got canceled, and some tournament got canceled, and they had to have a spot pick up.
Oh,
So
you're talking about on the same course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really unusual.
I mean, I've heard of 2 in 1 year being played at Pebble Beach, but never 2 anywhere else, and then back-to-back.
Now, one thing about this, it's the same course, but it won't be the same course.
They're going to change it up.
Yeah, they're going to change it up big time. In fact, for the memorial this week, the golf course will be made a lot harder.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine so.
Well,
The main
Jay,
reason this happened is this is Jack Nicklaus's course. I imagine he was able to go in and create another tournament, which was great.
Yeah.
I was like y'all. I was looking forward to the first tournament with fans and see how that goes. Just you do it as an experiment, but that's not going to happen. They changed their mind.
Well, it's 9. They're going to have 9 tournaments now without fans.
But I'm with Michael. It's better than nothing. And then golf is the one. It's kind of different because a lot of these shots these players slice into the rough or hit over the green, they usually bounce off of gallery members and it helps them out. But not anymore.
Breaking news on ESPN: the Washington Redskins have officially changed their nickname. They have not officially announced their new nickname. But no more Washington Redskins. What do you guys think about it?
Oh, gosh. What are they going to do about this? Hail to the Redskins!
No.
Oh, well, I don't know the
They've
words.
officially lost their fight song, too.
They're the only 2 teams that actually have a band. One of them is...
Also official news, the Braves will be keeping the Atlanta Braves nickname, but they will do away with the Tomahawk Chop, it looks like.
They will?
We've just become so dang politically correct and
Yeah.
sensitive. It's...
want to mention before we get off the subject about what the golf tournament this past weekend. And of course the reason we were so concerned was Justin Thomas played his college golf at Alabama. Of course he's from Kentucky. He grew up in a country club there. Daddy was a pro. I mean he was ripe to be a great pro player, and he is, and one of the great ones. Of course. Bless his heart, he still goes home with $675,000. Of course, Morikawa goes home with 1.116, $1,116,000. I can't count. And looking at some other people, Brian Gay, your buddy, he ended up was in the money, but he didn't win but $45,000. Then I tell you, Rich G. Fowler is one of the most inconsistent golfers on the tour. I like him. He's one of the most popular golfers out there, but he is so inconsistent. He ends up turning around. He was in the running, and then he turns around and he shoots a 73 on the last hole, our last day, and still wins $59,000, but he was in the running and then quickly out of it.
He's only won 5 times his whole career.
I know it, and he's a great guy. They say he's one of the most popular guys on the tour. So if he ever got Duffner out of Auburn, won $14,000. He had a 75 yesterday.
Stuart Sink's been playing better. I keep up with him still.
And again, he was doing real well, and then at the end didn't produce. Bill Mickelson shot us last two days was 74, 72. So Mickelson wins 14,000. I know things like that don't mean anything to him, but he was about 10th from the bottom of the list. So,
I've got a connection to Stuart Sink. My second cousin, he now lives in Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta, and somehow she got hooked up with him and became his nanny for a year or two. Had kids, and some of these tournaments he would go to, she would go with him to take care of the kids. Like one time he played in the British Open, and she went over there with Stuart and his wife and kids and took care of the kids. Said he's a really nice, great guy.
Every week, and how many times you heard me say this about Stuart Sink, he's always in the money. He won $88,000 yesterday. That wasn't a bad weekend, was it?
Well, you know what I always say, that the government takes 40%, and you got to pay your caddy 10%, and you got travel and hotel expenses.
That's what I was going to ask Will, and that you probably answered that. Will, what are their main expenses?
Oh, you mean the pros?
Yeah. What like? Say Stuart Sink won $88,000 yesterday. What would his expenses be other than the taxes?
Well, you'd have taxes, you'd have caddy.
What do you have to pay the caddy? 10% or what?
No, most of them pay them a salary, and then if they win, they get 10%.
Okay.
So it's not, now Tiger's caddy. 1 year, was the second leading money winner on
He made over $1 million or what? Well over.
way over $1 million. Cause
Yeah.
Tiger won like $10 million. You know.
I'll tell you another. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, they got to fly there. They got to get hotels. They got to get. I guess they give them rental cars, right? The tournament probably give.
They give them a car. A lot of them, they give them a place to stay. You know, it's. I don't think the expenses are that big a deal to them.
Well, tell us about the.
Stuart Sink's won $39 million on tour.
Oh, that's pretty good living, and pretty good living for a young man out of Florence, Alabama.
And why do they all live in the state of Florida?
Taxes, state
No
taxes.
no state income tax.
That's right. That's a
That's
lot of
why I
money.
had to move down here.
yeah. My game was calling in.
That's
from
probably why
Great
Tommy
Beach.
Tuberville
He's
moved
drinking
down there.
some substance. We don't have any idea what it is. Hopefully it's water. And there is that pretty face this morning. My game is from Great Beach,
It's
Florida.
one of our title sponsors, Milo's Tea out of Birmingham.
That's right. And of course, we got Will Matthews. By being on Zoom television, and of course we're on Facebook around the country around the world, and by being on Zoom, we can now get all 5 people talking at the same time. Will,
We
what do you
got
think?
to line up and we could have
all
somebody else.
5 people talking at the same time.
4.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Of course, Will's telling us any other expense that do they have any kind of fee they have to pay, entrance fee?
No.
They don't have to pay any kind of entrance fee. I didn't know that.
All this said, though, but if you've just got your tour card, it's a big deal trying to make some. They don't make as much money as you would think. These young guys, if they don't make a cut, if they go a couple of weeks without making a cut, they're probably hurting.
You know, that Duffner, who is really a great guy, you know, and he finished way down the list. He started off pretty good. He started off with 69. He brings home 14,000. I bet he doesn't bring home hardly any of that. Is that right? I mean, what I'm saying, most all of that 14,000 is going to be gone.
Well, he's in the top 35% federal income tax. What's the top rate for federal income tax? 35%.
Yeah.
You know, he pays at least 40% income tax.
Matt Cooker, who is knows a lot of folks like him a lot, and he was 69. Looks like he was going to be having a great one, but then he turned around and shot 74, 72. So Cooker was way down the list this past weekend. But
You know, these guys have got it made. Like, you know, we got to see firsthand because my twin sister Camille used to be the head person running the Breno event team in Birmingham. She was the person that put on the senior tour event for years. And, you know, they did they were at Greystone and then they moved to Ross Bridge. And Dad and I would go to all these events. I'd go to the parties beforehand and all these pro-ams, and we'd go to the Players Lounge and eat these unbelievable meals. And you'd be side by side next to Curtis Strange and Ben Crenshaw and Lee Trevino and all these guys. I mean, it's just all these tournaments are so well done with the sponsors, and then to be able to go behind the scenes. And this is on the senior tour. I can't imagine what it's like to do that regularly on the PGA tour.
oh yeah,
It's incredible.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, baseball starts when? The
23rd.
23rd. Baseball is with us, and they're going to play 60 games. How's this going to work, Will? Do you know?
I understand they're going to play 30 in their intercontinental or whatever you call them, interleague, and then 30 within the league or something. I don't know how they're going to do it.
The big news, which is exciting, is there's going to be a designated hitter in the National League for the first time in the American League.
Well, that's where it should be, I think. I don't know why they didn't ever go
But
to
that means you will not have to worry about a pitcher hitting in the National League.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, you know, I wonder, Mike, you know, you got your computer there. Tell us who are the best hitting pitchers in baseball. I bet you can do that.
Well, I could look that up. I mean, I know a few of them over the years. The Bumgarner guy, the pitcher for San Francisco, has hit tons of home runs, but I can look and see.
You know, I can't remember that very well on how well they hit, these pitchers.
I can tell you the best one of all time. You can too.
The best hitting pitcher?
If you miss this, Mike Amos, I'm walking off the
Wait
show.
a minute, Babe Ruth. And he pitched for the Red Sox.
For about 6 years, didn't he?
Yeah.
He has a great record.
You know, and he was one of the most, I mean, he didn't look like an athlete, had that big old belly like mine. And, I mean, what I'm saying, he was ugly. He wasn't a pretty player at all. He had that little trot, you know.
I wonder if I think he did pitch one inning for the Yankees, or I've seen that.
Is that what did he play other than that? What position did he play?
First,
right field, didn't
Is
he?
that where he played? Who are the greatest right fielders of all time? Al Kaline, Roger Maris. Who are great right fielders?
It's hard to name them, isn't it?
Al Kaline and Roger Maris were two.
I played a little right field. I didn't like it.
Why did they always put the worst player in right field?
Let's get the
Because
fewest
there
ball.
wasn't many left-handed batters, was it?
That's right. Got fewer hits.
y'all right. Babe Ruth was number one.
All right. As a hitter?
Yeah, there's a guy right now that plays for the Los Angeles Angels. Shohei Ohtani. He's actually a guy that was from over in China. He's been great as a pitcher and a DH.
Yeah, well, tell us more about this guy. He's fascinating. He's a great pitcher and a great hitter, isn't he?
Yeah, actually he's from Japan, but he throws 98 miles an hour. Yeah,
Does he
he's
really?
great.
What's his pitching number so far in the major leagues?
Well, so far he's got 36 home runs and 101 RBIs, 292 average. And I want to say he had Tommy John, so he hadn't pitched a lot. But
Okay.
that's what he's known. He's known for a pitcher.
Well, now with the new rule, that'll help him a lot, won't it?
Another guy I never
Well, it
heard
won't
of,
help
Wes
him a
Farrell. Wes Farrell, you ever heard of him, Dad?
Yeah, I've heard of Wes Farrell. Played with Philadelphia Eagles.
He's
Philadelphia.
the cousin
Phillies.
of Will Ferrell that did Talladega Nights.
Is that right? Philadelphia Phillies.
I mentioned him earlier. Madison Bumgarner is a great player, pitcher right now. Wes Farrell played for Boston.
Okay. And what did he do?
Well, I mean, we're talking about all-time great pitchers that were hitters.
Yeah.
Carlos Zambrano played for the Cubs. I remember him. Mike Hampton played for the Braves and Astros. He's a really good hitter. A guy named Kent Brett played for the Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Was that George Brett's brother?
I don't know. Don Drysdale was a great hitter.
Yeah, I remember
apparently.
that. Yeah, Drysdale. You know, he's dead now, and of course he and Donnie Sutton were best friends for the Dodgers.
This guy was pretty well-known name that was a great hitter, Don Larson.
Don who? Larson?
Don Larson, yeah.
Don Larson pitched a perfect game for the Yankees. And you said he was a real good hitter.
That's what they're saying in this.
Now, before long, you'll tell me that Ryan Deeren was a good hitter.
Who?
Ryan Deeren. Have any of y'all ever heard of Ryan Deeren? He wore sunglasses. He couldn't even see. He would either throw it over the backstop or throw it on the ground. But he was one of the best relief pitchers in the history of
Tim
baseball.
Hudson.
Yeah, he was a good one.
I always thought he would have been a better hitter in the major leagues because he was a 400 hitter almost in college.
Oh, that's right. No question about it.
Didn't just pitch in the pros.
Mike, tell us what this thing's going to be like. With the 60 games, and how many months will they give them to play 60 games?
I mean, I would imagine it would, if it starts in July, it'd probably finish sometime September, I would guess.
And no fans, right? No fans.
Yeah, they're supposed to expand the playoffs as well, so more teams can make the playoffs. So.
Well, they played too many games anyway. They played 164, didn't they? 164 games?
162.
All right, that was way too many anyway.
But they've always that's part of the tradition of baseball, though.
Yeah, you got to make their numbers and
The
stuff.
worst thing in the world is September, October, November in baseball when everybody's looking at football. Nobody looks at baseball then. That's the worst time in the world. If you want to get a ticket, you can walk up to the outside of the stadium in Atlanta and get a free ticket in September, October, or especially if they're not in the running.
Well, I remember when I was a big Braves fan, though, you were glued to the TV when they were playing in the playoffs, and back when they started their good run.
Will, of course, we were talking about Brian Gay, who is from Daleville. Did you ever play with him, or Bill? Was you ever around him? Will?
Oh, Will's gone.
Will's gone.
He didn't even tell us goodbye. He just left.
I know, no question about it. We're going to take a short break. We will, as soon as Scott gets up there. Well, of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy, and they've got a deal going like you will not find anywhere. Remember, nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson Satisfaction.
I can't look at the bottom down there. She fought it like this. Are we back to our show? Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. And on a sad note this morning, ladies and gentlemen, Pike County and our community lost a great lady. Miss Tammy Powell passed away this past weekend. She was one of the outstanding people that's ever walked through the streets of Pike County. I tell you, I love Tammy Powell. Nobody fought this dreaded disease like she did. She was class 100%. Everything she did, she was positive and was just a great, great citizen of our community. And of course, not only was she a teacher, a 4-H club teacher, she made 4-H what it is today in Alabama. And of course, she was involved in so many other things. And I used to hear her on the morning show, the radio morning show, come to work every day. I just said to myself, I said, that lady has as much spirit about her as anybody I know. She's been on this show several times. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'd say that no more outstanding person has ever been on this show, with her. And I tell you, she was really.
Well, I'm shocked. I didn't know. I've been out of Troy and out of touch, I guess, but.
And everywhere you go, she would be involved. One of my favorite places at Christmas is go down to the Methodist Church there in Brundage and enjoy a delicious meal. she was always there. Everywhere I went, and of course, she represented the 4-H, but so many other
It
organizations.
was the Pike County Extension Office, and she was their director. And so she was the 4-H lady, but she was in so much more. She was real active in the cattlemen's events,
Cattlemen's, exactly.
cattle women,
Yeah.
all kind of events. I mean, I had a newspaper, or worked in the newspaper business for 12 years in Troy, and I bet I dealt with Tammy more than just about any other person. She was such a civic leader, and like you said, Mike, she was one of those people that was always upbeat, positive, had a smile on her face, obviously made things happen. It's people like Tammy Powell that make a community a great place to live. So terrible, sad news.
There are not enough superlatives out there to properly acknowledge this great lady. She was everything you could imagine her to be, and even more. And of course, like I said, she was a great role model, one of the great role models in Pike County history, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Tammy Powell has passed away after a long, hard fight against
Says here she passed away Friday, July 10th.
That's right. And again, if you, hey, you know, they don't put up statues for regular folks much, but if there's one to put up, I'd put it up as Tammy Powell, because
she was
wonderful.
Her legacy will live for generations with the people she touched, especially in the 4-H program. The people she influenced are now influencing the others. But that is terrible, sad. And we've lost a lot of great community members recently.
No question about it. A great role model and great citizen of our community. You know, I was reading, and you know, when we talk about, and I've worn this periodically, mainly for folks out there to be conscious of wearing your face mask. But it tells you when to watch, when to wear it and where to wear it. But on this registered nurse speaks. I'm appalled by the way people wear the face mask that covers only their mouth but not their nose. Well, I've always felt like that you want to cover your nose and your mouth, but evidently not everybody. When we sneeze, cough, or speak, we release thousands of water droplets, and you know, and I'm sure we do it on this show. The potential of inhaling the COVID-19 virus rises dramatically. According to the UDC, your mask must fit snugly, covering both the nose and the mouth. There should be no gaps and should either be laundered or, if a single mask, disposed of after each use. Always remove the mask from behind. Don't touch the front of the mask. It may take some getting used to, but it's better than catching this terrible disease or passing it on to others. And that's
what do you think
tomorrow,
as far as the voter turnout? Do you think there'll be probably one of the poorest turnouts you'll ever see due to the coronavirus and due to people having to wear masks and going to the polling? I mean, where are the polling places in Troy located? You used to go to Armory.
Yeah.
You go to churches. Where else do you go?
You know, I don't know exactly. And do we have, how many races do we have here to vote on?
You got Barry Moore, who's been on the show, going against Coleman.
And we're going to have local elections in Ozark. It's got a local election.
Jeff Coleman was leading against Barry Moore, and then you got, of course, Tuberville and Sessions. Yeah. I mean, I don't live in the state, so y'all would have to tell me. Yeah. It's got to be all over the papers.
These are the runoff elections, so I think that's it.
Yeah.
Coleman and Moore and Sessions and Tuberville.
I mean, you realize that Tuberville wins. I mean, he is a United States senator. There is no way in the world.
He's got to beat Doug Jones.
Doug Jones doesn't have a chance to beat a Republican. That was a fluke when he beat Roy Moore.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a heck of a race right here, Sessions and Tuberville. And that's tomorrow.
I guarantee you, you'll have Trump coming out left and right, bashing Sessions the next 24 hours.
Exactly right. And you know, Sessions is a decent person. I've known him personally for a long time, and you know, he's like I said, he was one of Dr. Doug Hawkins' best friends. They did a, you know, not only politically but socially.
You know, and I think he had no other choice but to recuse himself.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting a bum rap, and if I was him, I would have fought back against those, you know, Trump throwing him under the bus a lot harder. I mean, I'm no political expert, although I majored in political science. He was supporting Trump during the campaign, was real active in his campaign, and then this charges come up about him, and I don't know, and his office would be leading this investigation. I don't know how he could be an impartial dispenser of justice if he was heading up an investigation of his boss. Yeah. So it made sense to me that he recused himself, and but boy,
I'll be
Mr. Trump
honest.
didn't like that.
I mean, Trump probably would have gotten rid of him for some other reason. But, you know, the big news because Trump just pardoned Roger Stone, who was, you know, a big supporter of his.
You know, there's
well.
an actual footage on Netflix, whatever, about Stone. The whole thing. And Stone is a cheerleader, Mike. Did you know that? That's what he is. He's a promoter.
Yeah.
You know, he is, and they say he's one of the best in the country. And if you want to win an election, a lot of people say you want Stone on your side. That he's one of the very best, and so forth.
Well, he wasn't. There wasn't any. You know, the whole thing was they're conspiring with the Russians to somehow rig an election, which, in my mind, is a preposterous charge. You know, even if the Russians were trying to rig an election, how would they do it? So I never got the whole Russiagate thing. I mean, isn't the idea that some Russian people, some trolls, put some ads on Facebook, and that apparently ads that nobody saw, by the way. But somehow those few ads on Facebook convinced everybody to vote for Donald Trump instead of Hillary Clinton, which is, you know, preposterous. I mean, they might have changed one vote, but, you know, there's 80 million people that vote.
Right. Well, you talk about, you know, Sessions, and, you know, what, you know, you asked him to be our Attorney General. Do we supposed to be for the law or against the law?
That's right.
You know,
I thought he did the right thing.
He's a lawyer. I mean, he's been, you know, for the law for all these years. Does that make him supposed to stop being for the law and not operating?
Sessions did one thing that disappointed me. I'm a defender of Julian Assange, who's WikiLeaks guy. You know, Trump bragged about WikiLeaks all the time because they published some stories that showed that the Democratic National Conference was probably biased towards Hillary, and some other stories. Basically, they publish things that embarrass the government and people don't want published. Well, that's what the press is supposed to do. They're not supposed to be chickens and cowards. They're supposed to publish things like this. Well, if you see what's happening to Julian Assange, he's locked up in prison. America's trying to extradite him and throw him in jail for the rest of his life, all for, in my opinion, publishing the truth. Well, Sessions came into office, and early when he was Attorney General, he said a priority of America is going to be getting Julian Assange. And man, I was always a big Jeff Sessions supporter until I heard him say that, and that turned me off because they need to leave Julian Assange alone. Yeah. That's my editorial for the day.
That's his opinion.
That's the editorial, that's right.
I want to mention some local news, which is good for Dante Hall out of Luverne. He's been picked up by the Brooklyn Nets to play in the bubble. You know, all the games can be played down in Orlando. So he was a free agent. He was not drafted. He was playing with Detroit, played in the G League, which was kind of the NBA minor leagues. And I never thought Dante Hall would make an NBA, but I was wrong. I didn't think he had enough of a shot.
Yeah.
He's a great shot blocker, good rebounder, but, you know, couldn't make a 10-footer at Alabama. But he's proven that he can play in the NBA, and good for him. Good for
you know what happens. You know what happens, Michael, and you've seen it too, is these guys keep getting better, and some of them are late bloomers. And, you know, Dante Hall, he just kind of slowly got better and better and better at Alabama, and he's apparently getting better and better and better in the pros. But you see that from time to time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it one more time.
With a wingspan of 7'4".
Whoa.
So you can only imagine, you know, the amount of shots he could block.
That's right.
Yeah.
Out of Luverne, Alabama, played in Sammy Carr Gym over in Luverne. My dear friend.
Sammy Carr was a good guy.
Dear friend of mine. You know, these face masks here, and I've got to say it one time, I'm gonna stop saying it. It's so easy to put on. And hey, if anybody laughs at you, tell them exactly what they act. They're stupid if they were negative about a face mask. It can save lives, no question about it.
You know, in Florida, where I live, it was a record as far as number of cases in a day. 15,000 new cases in a day. Whoa. In Florida. We've set the record for most so far in states. And, you know, the tough thing is DeSantis is the big Trump guy, the governor. And then he's been going after Cuomo, the governor of New York, talking about how Florida, you know, did things the right way and didn't have near the number of deaths and near the number of cases. So now Cuomo is going after DeSantis, saying, "I told you so." So two governors are bickering back and forth, a Democrat and a Republican. But it's going to be very interesting. My wife and I are trying to figure out on Wednesday night the Red Bar opens down here.
Let me ask you this.
It's going to be a big event. And we would love to go to the Red Bar. We'd love to go and have dinner and hang out. But, of course, everything's inside. So it's one of those type things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, do you go down there and be a part of the reopening and the big party going on? Or
there are going to be people out there in the back saying, now, where are you going after you leave this? Are you going back to Alabama? Are you going back to Louisiana or Florida or wherever?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You know, you can only have 50% occupancy as well. So that's going to be tough for them.
But ding, ding. The Red Bar is finally open on Wednesday, Mike. What's the deal? What time they open?
If they open for dinner, it'd be normal 5 o'clock.
Is your favorite band, Dread Clampett, going to play?
I hope so, but that's what I told my wife. I said, if they opened for lunch that day, there'd be no doubt I'd go.
Oh, Dread would probably put you in the front seat, wouldn't he?
I don't know about that, but we don't know if we want to mingle, you know, side by side with everybody inside. I don't know.
Yeah. Of course, it's a great place to eat, no question about it.
Michael has talked about the number of bands in the country that used to play at places like that. I mean, have they gotten any gigs in 6 months? God.
Man, it's been tough. I mean, a lot of people we know that are in the entertainment business down here, I mean, they just haven't been able to play.
I've got a question, Mike, that was given to me this morning. What are the casinos doing? Are the casinos actually open completely or what?
Yeah, they're wide open. You know, my wife and I, we went ahead and booked Vegas for April for my 45th birthday. So we already got plans to go stay out there again. Hopefully everything will be back to normal in April. If it's not, something's going to be
a friend of mine, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but a friend of mine just got married down in Las Vegas, Mike. And a good friend, and I'm not going to mention his names, but I'd like for you to know how glad I am for you, and I wish you so many years of happiness. Y'all both deserve it, and we love you both very much. And, you know, they've gone to Las Vegas to get married.
Like a million people.
I'm not going to mention a name, but a lot of folks know who I'm talking about.
They're probably going to that little chapel in Vegas.
Going to the chapel and we're going to get married. Is that right?
I wonder how many of the marriages have been shut down. Yeah, I mean, all people. I would say those marriage chapels run around the clock in Vegas. People getting married.
But I'm wondering though, wouldn't you? How do they handle the COVID-19 situation? I mean,
everybody's wearing masks. I
bet everybody in there. I bet they're told to wear a mask. Every one of them.
All the employees wear masks, but you had the choice if you want to wear a mask or not.
It's all slot machines, right? I mean, I like to play.
It's all table games too.
I know, but I like to play blackjack. It's the only Vegas game I really know how to play. But from what I gather, 80% of the people just play slot machines is what they're really into. So I would guess they just close, like the tables, they just shut down 2 slot machines and keep you separated from people.
Well, it is something.
But you go to Vegas more than anything for the great restaurants and the entertainment, all the shows. I mean,
it's a wonderful place. You're right.
Last time we were out there, we went and saw Van Morrison, you know, which was a legendary performer. glad to have that off the bucket list. But
Mike, you're coming to us on Zoom from Grayton Beach, Florida. You look real good right now, brother. How many fingers am I holding up? Do you know?
You got 2.
What am I doing right now?
Truck Talk is coming on. That's right.
Is
Glad
that
you
Hook 'em
told us.
Horns? I don't know.
That's Hook 'em Horns.
Truck Talks with Jeffrey Bennett. Truck Talks is coming on with Jeffrey Bennett in about 5 minutes. Hope you've enjoyed our show today, and we're shortened a little bit here on Monday, but we'll be back strong on voting day tomorrow, Mike. Everybody needs to go to the bowl to the voting.
5 minutes.
But, and of course, we'll have up-to-date information on where you can vote here in Pike County.
I'll say a lot of national attention on this session's Tuberville race.
Yeah, it will
because of Trump's endorsement and distaste of Jeff Sessions. So I think this will get a fair amount of national attention.
Yeah.
And I think that Tuberville in the polls must be way up because he's just been doing a four corners freeze operation for a couple of weeks. So I guess the experts expect Tuberville to win, but it would be quite a story if Sessions came back and upset him.
That's right.
Yeah,
We'll see if
Sessions was begging for a debate, and Tuberville was smart enough not to debate him.
Yeah, that's right.
I was reading articles about that. Tree Flowers.
And we didn't find out whether or not Sessions was an Alabama or Auburn guy, but if he's an
Alabama grad.
All right, so he's an Alabama guy. So
No,
it's Alabama against
school, right?
Auburn. Look out. Alabama against Auburn, Michael. War Eagle.
I think Sessions
War Eagle. This is Tommy Tuberville. And this is...
He went to Huntington, I think, undergraduate, if I'm not mistaken.
And this is our guy who has been there and done that.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get you some new stuffed animals.
Well, he don't want to stay on.
Big Al.
Well, we encourage everybody to go out and vote.
Exactly right. Go out and vote.
I don't know what time the polls open tomorrow, but I would imagine.
You know, I'm joking.
Like 8 to 6. I don't know.
I'm joking about all this, but at the same time, this is going to be an Alabama and Auburn thing. What do you think?
Tuberville will be at his Auburn house, I guess, to vote, right? He won't be at his.
I heard he's going to be live at Santa Rosa Beach on 38.
Does he still own entrance? Own entrance in my restaurant down there?
Tuberville owns a place in Santa Rosa Beach and 2 places in Bay County.
Okay, great. 2 minutes. Of course, he also was used to be involved in the Alabama-Florida fish house.
He had a lake house at Lake Martin too.
Old Florida Fish House.
Old Florida Fish House, no question about it.
I think all coaches, especially Auburn coaches, they got to have a place at Lake Martin too.
Locally, I know there's some races going on here in Troy and some races going on in Ozark and some local races that we'll be watching very closely. Again, our prayers and our thoughts go out to the family of Tammy Powell, who we lost this weekend. What a lady. What a lady. See you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in L.A.
We've been doing
You look great, though.
1 year. And now we've approached a year at the all-new Bill Jackson Ford. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
I would recommend Bill Jackson to friends and family. Environment was just friendly.
It's a short drive from anywhere.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now